Huzur, I have put a question from Surah Al-Qasas, verse 60. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وما ربك مهلك القرى حتى يبعث في أمها رسولا يتلو عليهم آياتنا وما كنا مهلك القرى إلا وأهلها ظالمون. Huzur, my question is, how do this verse could be applied to the Prophet Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam?
To
the Prophet Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam.
Right. You see, it applies to Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because it is he who is the messenger of the whole world and the entire people. So any subordinate prophets which come, they only follow him, and what happens to him and what is designed about him also applies to him. So that is why for the universal prophet, the universally central township, which could be called Qura, has been made the venue of Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's appearance. And that is why that is the only town in the world which has been named by the Quran as Qura. It is the center of the whole world. Again, the mention to Mecca under the word Becca is made, indicating that it is the most ancient place which built around the first house of God. The first house, not God, first house of the people. Inna awwala baytin wudi'a lin-nasi lalladhi bi-Bakkah. So the word lin-nas is very indicative and very profound, because apparently one expects it to read Inna awwala baytin wudi'a lillahi or li-ibadatillahi. Doesn't mention that. Which means this is the first symbol of civilization. When men came out of the caves and started living on the surfaces of earth, the first house which gave them set an example for them how you should live, was made under divine command by God, and also it had relationship with worship of God. We assume from this, but that has to be the first harbinger of new civilization, where men will be civilized and they will come to live on the surface of the earth. So this is the significance of Qura, because in the beginning the entire mankind was one unit, and it had only one house to claim, to relate to, as far as the beginning of the entire civilization of mankind is concerned. Adam was born much later, but people, wherever they were born, they were taught to live by this house. And this is why Allah does not mention who built it, when it was built. Al-Bayt al-Atiq is the only expression we find. So it is Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam who is the universal prophet. It is his, Assalamu alaikum, it is his warnings which continue to warn the world till the end of the time. It is the warnings contained in the Holy Quran which carry their signs along with them, which have been delivered by Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah to the whole world. Hazrat Masih Maud came to remind the world and to warn them of the time coming near. As such, his place may not be Qura, because Qura has to be one only. But because he is subordinate prophet to the one born in al-Qura, so this objection is invalid. But the purpose he is serving is exactly the same as that of his holy master, and he has warned the whole world. There is no shadow of doubt. So he takes over the command of this age, not on his own, on behalf of Islam, on behalf of his holy master Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So what warnings were delivered by him and were delivered by the Quran, he carried them under divine guidance with some added details of the fundamentals. He didn't invent new things. God told him that, for instance, the Holy Quran speaks of Al-Qariya, As-Saha, and this and that, and the calamities which will wipe out the life from the face of earth under the shadow of the dark, sinister smoke, the cloud of smoke. And no one on earth at that time could imagine that smoke could radiate and it could spell, death to whatever passes under. Nobody could imagine. But now, in the age of Hazrat Muslim, when he delivered the warning to the world that God has warned me that you will go through war after war, global war. And because he was shown earthquakes of global nature, so interpreted that these are the wars, and he saw fire being bombarded from the heavens upon the people. He saw naval warfare, like he says, kishtiyan chalti hain, taahon kushtiyan. Now this seems to be a new prophecy, but it was certainly not, because the Holy Quran has delivered this warning very clearly that in the latter days is al-biharu sujjirat, when the seas will be sujjirat. One meaning of sujjirat is to make two bodies of water flow into each other, as it is merge also, that means the same. But sujjirat also means will be alight with fire, and there will be great commotion. Then one nashitate nashtam, that verse, that surah, one nasiyate gharqan is a prophecy of submarines. They pull by going underwater. And nazia is also indicative of fight and this arguments, and not argument, but where there are two bodies involved fighting with each other. That is the naza. So one naziat gharqan could not be understood in any other meaning until it had come to pass. So the naval warfare which Hazrat Muslim was shown, which he described as kishtiyan chalti hain taahon kushtiyan, boats are plying because so that they could come to battle, come to grip with each other. This happened in the First World War. The sky showering bombarding upon people with fireworks. This is in just what he has explained. At the time, no aeroplane was invented, but this heaven bombarding flames upon, hurling flames upon people, this was not possible, but he saw it. But this too is predicted in the Holy Quran. So if the ulama of today start reading the Quran in depth, they will be amazed how much of the predictions regarding the latter days have been made in the Quran. So the point I am proving is that it is the Prophet of the Qura who was given all these warnings. Hazrat Masih Maud only took up the cudgel to revive all these things and to remind the world. So despite the fact that he prophesied under direct divine command, but because all these prophecies were found either in the Quran or in the Sunnah, so it was not a new movement started by him. So he does not have to be born in the Qura. Right? And secondly, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he predicts or speaks of the prophecy in the Holy Quran, in Surah Al-Jumu'ah, that someone will be born, some man will come from God who would bring back the faith from the heavens down to earth. He doesn't say that he will be born in Mecca. He says he will be non-Arab. So how could you call the township of the birthplace of a non-Arab in Ajam to be Qura? So Qura is only one. The Prophet of the Qura is the only Prophet entitled to address the entire world, which it did. It is under his warnings that the world is going through these calamities. His perfect slave could only be that who also took up his work, his task, and addressed the whole world. He reminded them that now is the time for the warnings, be ready. This is what he did. Understand? Please.
I missed the prophecy of the promised Messiah about the fire coming from heaven, that's all.
He said that he saw the heavens striking the earth and the seas with bolts of fire. So how could anybody imagine that people who go into war with each other would bring fire from the heavens? This happened after the invention of the aeroplanes. You see? Not Fassara. The same prophecies which related to this age, which were present in the Quran, were revealed to him afresh, not as an addition to the Quran, but as indicated to the Quranic prophecies, that now is the time for those prophecies to be fulfilled. So the word fassara is not applicable.
Yes.